Hi everybody, welcome back to Harold's Tacos and More. So we're here for episode 2, and today I'm going to be making a chocolate mousse gluten-free cake. So found the recipe online from the website Meaningful Eats, and so that's meaningfuleats.com. And this is by Aaron Collins, who I think is the person that owns the website and runs it and so forth. Haven't made this before, but we're going out for dinner with friends, and some people are gluten-free, and I'm making dessert. Anyhow, we'll see how it turns out and follow along the process. Okay, see you soon. Hey, where did the name for Harold's Tacos come from? Well, I like making tacos, my family likes eating tacos, and just trying to come up with a catchy name for some fun, and I thought, hey, I'm going to use my middle name, Harold, and it allows me to think about my Uncle Harold, who I never got a chance to know. When my mom was pregnant with me, my Uncle Harold was killed in a car accident. He was my dad's brother, and so I got Harold as my middle name, and this is a chance for me to think about the man I didn't know, and think about my cousins and aunt who didn't have enough time with their dad and husband and everybody else. So there you go. There's the background to Harold's Tacos, and of course I like to do more. Okay. Alrighty, so we're making the cake part first. This is a kind of a 3-stage operation here with the cake and then the mousse part and then some whipped cream. But back to the cake. So these are the ingredients. We got some gluten-free flour. I'm using the Robin Hood brand and haven't used it before. Some sugar, vanilla, salt, chocolate, butter, and eggs. Actually calls for 5 eggs. So we'll get all that going. And in the meantime, I'll start preheating the oven to 325. Okie dokie. So what we're going to do, first step is melt the butter. I got a cup of butter happening there and 8 ounces of chopped, what's it called, the bittersweet or semi-sweet, I guess it's a semi-sweet chocolate. Need to melt that together, and actually going to mix the whole cake in this pan. So I've got a nice double boiler going. They say you can melt it in the microwave. I've always found that burns for me anyways, and hey, I like doing it a little bit more old school. So we'll do that, and also greased up my pan using the trick from my mom of the wrapping from the butter and just a little bit, and did that. So we'll get to work on the butter and chocolate mix. This is coming along pretty nicely. One of the things I just love about cooking with gas is how you can control the heat so well, and how you can get things to happen quickly. I think a real advantage of using a double boiler as well is that you're not going to scorch the whatever you're cooking, because the water, is providing that heat. So that's another reason I like to do that. And then we'll add a cup of sugar once this is cooled a little bit, and of course obviously all melted and blended together. All right, we're going to get to adding the sugar. 1 cup of sugar, and make sure that blends in well. And then 5 eggs, 1 egg at a time, a tablespoon of vanilla, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then a last step is a 1/4 cup of that all-purpose gluten-free flour. So I'll show you that in just a second. Alrighty, a cup of sugar, slightly cooled. This is a 1/2 cup scoop. You can tell I'm super precise, but it seems to work out pretty good for the most part. Just blend all this in until it's nice and smooth. I guess you could use a blender, and I've got a nice stand one, an old one, but I think given that there's not a ton of flour and such that a whisk will just work perfectly, for me anyhow. This is egg number 4 of a total of 5, and it's interesting how the consistency, it's really thickening up, yeah, kind of cool. Okay, you might not be able to hear because of the wind, but look at the crazy storm that's just blowing up. Wow, okay, better get stuff protected. Next tablespoon of vanilla. Holy cow, that wind is crazy. Yeah, and don't want to be out there with all the trees around my place. Anyhow, I like to use a real vanilla. This stuff's from Mexico. Fortunately, we've been able to grab hold of that and got a pretty good stock of it. The vanilla and salt are nicely blended in, and you can kind of see the consistency of it. It's a pretty thin batter, and that's what Erin says in her recipe, which again is online, so totally not mine. Credit all to her. Yeah, so let's put in the 1/4 cup of the gluten-free flour and just kind of mix that in. Wow, it's thick. And just mix this, fold this in, blend it nicely, and then we'll get her into the pan. So here it is, all nicely mixed together, going into the spring form, which will be important for when the other components, the mousse and then the whipping cream topping, get added. Okay. And we're in the oven. Should be 30-35 minutes. I'll show it to you when it's done. All right, look at that. Right out of the oven. And a sneak peek at the tacos I'm having for dinner. Those were left over from last night. Hey everybody. Well, we're here for part 2 of the 3-part production of the gluten-free chocolate mousse cake. Really looking forward to it, using my secondary kitchen. How lucky am I? I know it every day to have this little space to be able to work. Often my jam factory, place where usually there's no distractions. And hey, check out the view. I don't know if you can see it. Pretty cool. Anyhow, had super fun at the 5440 concert last night, and yeah, anyhow, we're making the mousse part, and so, you know, what there is some ingredients. We got some Philadelphia cream cheese that's been out at room temperature for a little bit, vanilla, chocolate again, and icing sugar, and those are all the ingredients. I'll check, so just to double check to make sure. Anyhow, we're gonna get going on that and start off with using the double boiler again right behind me, and we'll go from there. Okay. All right, so we got to get ready to melt the chocolate. 8 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate. So we'll get the double boiler going. I forgot to add that you also need a couple cups of real heavy cream. So gotta chop this chocolate up. Check out the old school blade, eh? It's a beautiful morning where I'm at. Hopefully it's a nice day where you are too. This needs to, this mousse stuff needs to set for 7 or 8 hours before you put like the whipped cream on top. So I'm getting after it first thing in the morning. And once this is in the fridge on top of the cake, gonna go for an awesome bike ride. That'll be fun. Okay, so we'll get this melted and then we'll get on to the next step. So while the chocolate's melting, just give it a stir here so it's not sticking. I'm going to put the cream cheese, the icing sugar, and the vanilla into the blender and just start that process. It'll be easier then to add the chocolate. Okay, so we got the sugar in and the cream cheese a little bit blended. Might have chose the wrong, oops, can't even see me, look at that. I might have chose the wrong beaters or whatever, but we'll see how it works out. Yeah, gonna put the vanilla in. Sorry for having my back to you. Chocolate's all melted, so that's good. Anyhow, we'll see how this works out. Whoa. Okay, we're going to turn this baby off. Lift you up. Take you off. Can you guys see? Trying to, of course, scrape out every last morsel. That in there. Put you back over here. Okay, and we'll get it going, and I'll give you guys a bit of a break from the monotony of watching a mixer go around. So next step is adding the heavy cream. The recipe says to use at least 35% milk fat. That was absolutely the highest I could find in the couple of stores I went into where I live. So I've got a 473 ml size of 35%. And then I'm going to have to top her up with 33. Hopefully it will work okay. And yeah, life will hopefully be good. What I read in the recipe, and of course if you look it up and read it yourself, you'll see that what they say is that with a lower milk fat, it kind of is a bit more watery. I guess that kind of makes sense. But it's not too much of the lighter one. Okay, we'll get this going. Apparently you want to do this till it's kind of fluffy. So we'll start out at low and then do it at a higher speed. All right, so now we've got our cake. It turned out pretty good, I think. Feels pretty heavy and dense. So I'll put it over here and just adjust this a little bit and pour the mousse stuff on, and then cover that and throw it in the fridge. Well, not throw it, but gently place it. Yeah, this is pretty thick. The cake seems to have shrunk a bit from the side of the pan. So I'm wondering if this stuff, wow, that's a lot. Holy cow. This is going to be pretty tasty, I think. Cow. Well, here we are this afternoon at phase 3 or stage 3 of the gluten-free chocolate mousse cake. Just whipping up the whipped cream. Recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup of whipping cream, a couple of tablespoons of icing sugar. Doesn't call for vanilla, but I just feel wrong not putting a bit of vanilla in whipped cream. But hey, maybe that's just me. It's not a huge quantity of whipped cream, but when you see the depth of that chocolate mousse, you'll understand that you don't need a bunch. So I'll whip this up. I'll save you the pain of watching a blender go around, and back at you. All right, well, the cream's all whipped. The chocolate mousse cake is ready to get it on, and then we're going to grate a little bit of dark chocolate on top afterwards. And yeah, then I hope to take a still shot tonight at the dinner party we're heading to with a slice of this. So let's spread this all out. Don't have a spatula over here in the secondary kitchen, so I'm just going to use the back of a spoon. I've got a bread knife over there that can work as well. Had an awesome bike ride today, did a killer hill, getting ready for the Italy trip. I might have to make some more. This doesn't seem to be a lot. Interesting. Yep. I don't know. Let's see. Sometimes I get a little excessive in what I think should be the icing layer. So this is probably actually pretty good because it's not like there's a shortage of calories or milk fat in this dessert. So I think the order tonight will be a smaller piece, maybe. Hands are clean again, yes, just in case you wonder. All right, got that done. Now we'll see how this grating operation works. I'm not super experienced at it. I want the bigger, I don't know if the bigger probably won't work. Let me grab my other grater. Yeah, no, that won't bother. I'm gonna try. Okay, let's see. Just kind of does small little things. But it's really not about the chocolate taste. It's about the presentation. So, I hope you're enjoying or have enjoyed this episode of Harold's Tacos and More. Had fun putting it together for you. A little bit crazy. There we go. Bon appetit. Chat later.